Good evening and welcome to the College of Health and Human Services 2015 Community Heroes Award Program. I'm Jody Hironaka-Juteau, and I have the honor of serving as the Interim Dean of the College of Health and Human Services, as well as the MC for tonight's event. As you have been able to glean from the posters surrounding the room, as well as your program booklet, the Community Heroes Award was established to recognize work within the health and human services sector, work that creates positive and meaningful change for Central California children and families. Each honoree was nominated by an academic department, school, center, or institute that represents the range of disciplines within the College of Health and Human Services. This annual event was birthed under the leadership of our former dean, Dr. Andrew Hoff, and we're in our 5th year, so that's why I feel like I want to say welcome back. I'd like to invite all past heroes, I know a number of you are here, all of our past heroes who are here with us this evening, to please stand and be acknowledged. Thank you. Fresno State is entering the season for celebratory programs and special events. In fact, there are actually a number of events going on today and throughout the weekend. As such, I consider us very fortunate to have Dr. Frank Lamas, Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, with us this evening. Dr. Lamas joined Fresno State last summer to lead the Division of Student Affairs. What I've come to personally appreciate about his leadership over time has been his energy, enthusiasm, and his undying commitment to take our campus to the next level in supporting student success. Here to offer his welcome on behalf of the university, Dr. Frank Lamas.
Thank you. Well, I actually, I'm very happy to be here to welcome you on behalf of President Castro and our cabinet and deans. This seems like such an incredible event. I've only been here in the Valley for almost a year now, it seems. And when I was reading some of the information, I thought, boy, there's some real giants here. This is some great people and that have done some wonderful things. And certainly, I was very inspired by some of the things that Community Heroes have done. As I read through the program, you obviously have made a huge difference in the lives of many individuals in our community, and that's really great. And I think that's wonderful. I like to say that when people do these types of things, that it changes lives, not maybe even just for that one individual, but all the people that they touch. And so I think it's fantastic. And I also believe that when people are recipients, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's been some heroes, maybe not here in the Valley, but where I grew up in upstate New York, that really made a difference in my life. And I think all of us have to look at ways of how we pay it forward and do things that really will continue that motion. God knows that every day in the media we can find out about everything that's bad in the world, but it's really great to see all the good that's in the world and all the things that people like these heroes are doing. So I like to just, again, extend my welcome to everyone that's here. I understand there's some alums who've also won the award. I want to welcome you back to campus. I hope you come back often. And for the community members, you know, we're the big dogs in town, as they say here, so please come back often and see us. So welcome and congratulations to you who've won awards and to those who won in the past, and keep making a difference in our community moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lamas. Your presence here tonight really makes tonight extra special for us. As he said, while our president, Dr. Castro and Provost Zalesny could not be here this evening, they send their best regards. And I know that they join me in offering a warm Fresno State welcome and sincere appreciation for all that each of you do in service to the Fresno State community and beyond. As you arrived this evening, you had an opportunity to meet and mingle with several of our department chairs, center directors, staff, and faculty at the college. I'm also very proud to say that you more than likely met several of our students, in particular students who are members of the inaugural class of Honor Scholars in Collaborative Leadership in Health and Human Services. They're all there in the back. They're enjoying some refreshments, some nourishment, but I'd like to introduce to you Stephanie Gomez, Zachary Roothausen, Aaron Kangas, Valea Kang, Yalda Mendoza, Marissa Moreau. Give them a hand. Thank you all for being here and to share this very special evening. We know finals are just around the corner and appreciate your commitment to being here. You know, as I walked over here this evening, I couldn't help but to stop for a brief moment in the Peace Garden. Show of hands of folks who've been to the Peace Garden before. Okay, show of folks who would like to know where the Peace Garden is. Okay, there's a lot more hands. So it's actually out these doors and just behind us here. Just north of the Henry Madden Library. For me, it's one of the most beautiful places on campus. It was dedicated in 1990 with a memorial to Mahatma Gandhi. In addition to Gandhi, the garden honors Cesar Chavez, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Jane Addams, and is described as a, quote, place for reflection, contemplation, and peaceful dialogue in a serene environment. As I reflected, I was kind of reminded of the well-known quote by Gandhi, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And as I've been anticipating this evening, I'm reminded that our community really needs heroes. Many children and families in our community face real challenges. They face poverty, access to health care, and safe places to play. They experience hunger, adverse social influences, and they face unemployment. Heroes offer us hope, serve to inspire, and to create new opportunities for those around them to live well. A hero can make a difference by effecting change in the life of just one child at a time, or by managing a health system that covers hundreds and thousands. As the first individual honored in our campus Peace Garden, Gandhi has also offered the following, quote, "You may never know what results come from your action, but if you do nothing, there will be no result." Clearly, our heroes are not do-nothings. They have acted and continued to act. Perhaps we should call them action heroes. Our heroes continue to serve as a valuable driving force to our schools, agency, organizations, and communities. We rely on their expertise, their passion and vision to move us forward in our commitment, as evidenced by our college's motto, Live Well, Central California. As you can read in the program, and will soon hear, all of the individuals honored tonight are inspiring, patient, compassionate, and dedicated to helping those in need. We are inspired and uplifted by their individual and their collective commitment to serving the needs of children and families throughout Central California. And this is why we are here tonight, to celebrate their dedication and contributions to their community, to your community, and really to our community. We are honored to recognize these remarkable group of individuals. Now, I would like to begin the presentation of our heroes. Each of our presenters and heroes will come to the stage. The presenter will offer a brief, and Dana said brief, introduction, and there will be brief remarks from the hero. The hero will then receive a certificate, and then together with the presenter will exit to my right and then meet with Carrie in the back for a photo. I would like to invite Dr. Paul Ogden from the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Studies to introduce the first hero. Dr. Ogden.
Hello, everyone. Kathy Yoshida is the Director of Interpreting Services at the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center here in Fresno. That's where she's currently working, but I want to start 35 years ago. And I remember meeting her, and she showed up in the Valley. She was the new interpreter in town, and one of the first interpreters who actually worked for the entire community, and started working at the university, and was able to make such an impact in inspiring so many people, young individuals, maybe new interpreters, and she was just able to make such an impact on the community over so many years. And as you'll see, now we have interpreters almost everywhere, and everybody knows Kathy Yoshida. She is our community hero for this evening because of her strong passion and belief in communication access for everyone, not just for deaf and hard of hearing people, but also for people who are not deaf. She has been a friend. She has friends of wide ranges of people from different backgrounds, people with different communication styles, and really is able to empower everyone in the community. And she is continuing to be a mentor to many young people today. This is my iPhone. And Michelle Bronson, who is the executive director of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, where Kathy works, explained that Kathy Yoshida is compassionate, has a lot of humor, wisdom, and experience, and she makes everything accessible, and was able to have a lot of insightful information. And also, she, as you know, many iPhone users, like this one I'm holding today, they all use Siri. Well, Kathy has become the Kathy to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Ogden. Good evening, Dr. Hironaka Jato, Dr. Lamas, honored guests, friends, and family. I am deeply honored and blessed to be receiving this award. It honestly came as a complete surprise. As I've said many times before, I am the ultimate nerda, N-E-R-R-D-A, not even remotely related to a deaf adult. For reasons only God in his infinite wisdom knows, I've been fortunate enough to have found my passion, so much so that I don't even think of my work as work. As an ASL English interpreter, it's been my privilege to be able to interact with members of the deaf, hard of hearing, and deafblind communities, gain an in-depth understanding of their worldview, and learn about their beautiful language and culture. The truth be told, I'm still on a learning curve, and that I'm sure most of you have realized is lifelong. I'm grateful to my colleagues from the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, Fresno State University, fellow ASL English interpreters and students who have inspired and encouraged me throughout my career and from whom I have learned so much. I am also grateful for the love and support of my family, including my late husband, Takao. I have family here with me today, my daughter Melissa, her husband Tom, my grandchildren Mikhail and Aaron, Tom's parents, Bob and Alice Fenton, and my sister Jean and her husband Bruce, who flew here from Delaware for this occasion. Yeah. The ASL English interpreting profession has come of age since I began learning American Sign Language 40 years ago. Research in the field has led to the development of a vast body of knowledge that has resulted in ASL English interpreting becoming a bona fide academic pursuit. What was once a service provided by family and friends is now a recognized practice profession. Of course, the end result of this acquired knowledge is to improve the quality of life for the people we serve. It's been my joy to serve in this dynamic field that has enriched my life beyond measure, and my desire is to give back to the community which has given so much to me. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Jackson, and I am a former chair of the Department of Kinesiology. It is my privilege to introduce to you Victor Hugo Manriquez, I have to trill that, who earned both a bachelor's and a master's degree from our department. Victor founded and implemented an innovative program in the Sanger School District, the Trucha Camp Physical Education Program, whose goal is to educate the students in fitness and health and the development of self-responsibility through character development. Students are encouraged to adopt their motto, which is to do what is good, right, and true consistently. Skills they learn provide a foundation to become agents for implementing positive values in the community. It is working and has successfully produced individuals who have developed into positive role models for their peers. Victor believes that the whole person must be considered, body, mind, and soul. Victor has done this tirelessly and has made an impact well beyond the Sanger School District. I present to you Victor Hugo Manriquez, who is truly an example of a community hero. Victor.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for your eloquent introduction. Thank you, Fresno State faculty, colleagues, superintendents, teachers, clergy, students, friends, my wife, families. Congratulations to all our community heroes. Our acceptance speech quota is 2 minutes. We'll do our best. I offer a warm-hearted thank you to all my teachers, and it spans for many years, from elementary school, junior high, high school, college, and even into the profession. Thank you to Coach Art McCray, who taught me that perseverance and fortitude, both on the baseball field and in life, is a virtue worth investing in. And also an adventurous thank you to my teachers in 4-H. For example, the late Anita Hill, who molded the love of people in my heart. I learned racial acceptance through her. Also, how fun camping could be. Thanks also to the kinesiology department and their great professors. The steadfast Dr. Jackson, who helped spearhead the master's committee. Quite a bit of work, but fun. Also, Dr. Chadwick, who advised me throughout my undergraduate work. The innovation of Dr. Munir, who guided me in the profession during the infancy of Trucha Camp. The analytical Dr. Anderson, who's driving fire under my feet, started when I was 19 years old, asking me to be a student assistant for theory and analysis of gymnastics. He also has encouraged me to pursue my master's in doctorate. He is one of our great leaders. Also, a serving of gratitude to my friend and longtime mentor, Ramses Noriega, who is a true master artist of life. His innovation expands from adopting a nonviolent approach to the Chicano civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s, helping to start hundreds of organizations, including Mecha, that empower young people. Now he's helped me to develop the Trucha Camp model. His painting strokes on the canvas of my life have catapulted me at warp speed, creating a positive change in lives of young people. I close with this. Saul of Tarsus said, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." He had a life-changing experience on that dusty road to Damascus. He went from persecuting people to empowering them for their faith. I too have had a Damascus road experience. The first few years of my education were turbulent. Some educators who lost their way placed me in a class with students that had mental and physical disabilities. They too became my teachers. At 7 years old, I saw a need in their eyes to belong. Through games and sport, I was able to integrate them into mainstream at the playground. What was intended for evil was turned for good. I know and I thank those teachers for that mistake they did. I had transformed my life. I've become a fervent advocate for education. I found out that all things are possible. I have a life vision now to create a pipeline from our districts like Sanger to encourage the students to go to Fresno State. This vision is alive and well. Some Trucha Camp veterans here today, like Alexis Lozada, they learned to do what's good, right, and true in their physical education class with me, and now are attending schools like Fresno State and others, UC Berkeley. But not only there, Also, they're being trained to attend schools like Princeton, Yale, Harvard, MIT, and other Ivy League schools, thanks to the Ivy League project with Mr. Mares. To continue this vision, our little children will need a sound mind, a healthy mind, a sound body, a healthy mind, and a strong spirit to lead us in an ever-changing world. These children have been invested into my care. I see them as the future guides who will lead our country and our institutions. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ndidi Griffin Myers, the Director and Chair of the School of Nursing. I'm going to start off with a quote from the Greek dramatist Sophocles, who said, "For a man, it is good for a man to do good work. That good work will lead him to his glorious task." When we think about just a few words, and I'm sure I bummed that quote, but I also want to say that just a few words, when we picture Debbie Tuttle here, and the picture has been going across the screen, that picture is worth 1,000 words. When we think about lifelong learning, Debbie epitomizes lifelong learning. From 1986 to 2014, Debbie has been pursuing a career in nursing. In nursing education, she has excelled. Debbie was one of our was part of the first cohort of the doctorate in nursing practice students that graduated from the School of Nursing in 2014. Debbie has dedicated her life to oncology nursing. She started out in Hawaii, where she cared for pediatric students or patients. And today she has moved and has a growing interest in cancer in women, breast cancer specifically. In 2014, death came knocking at Debbie's door, but Debbie did not let that keep her from her life's work. She continues on now to give back more and more as she works for the California militia in recruiting, as she continues to work in her role as an oncology nurse. So I won't take no more time. I think I'm past my 2 minutes anyway. I want to introduce to you now, it's a pleasure to introduce Debbie Tuttle.
Thank you, Ndidi. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Sylvia Miller, who nominated me for this award. I'm truly humbled. I know there are many nurses connected with Fresno State who would be just as deserving for this recognition for all the great works that they are doing in their communities. And I worked with many nurses who I, would look up to and was just so in awe of all the accomplishments, and especially like the going above and beyond in their community settings. When I was first told about this award, I was thinking it was going to be like a little blurb in a newsletter. And so when the girls were starting to contact me, I'm like, wow, this is really a big deal. And so I do want to thank them for all their tireless efforts, and because there's a lot of work goes into this, getting your picture, getting all this information, and they were truly very they kept making sure that I was staying on task, because I've been a little bit scattered. So I really appreciate them putting this together. This is very nice, and I wanted to thank them. I think of celebrities standing up in front of, in awards programs during these kinds of things, and how they, thank their fans and all that. And I did bring my own little fan club, which I really thank them. See, they're over here. So I thank them for coming, taking their Friday out to come to this. I think it's very appropriate to thank the people that I've worked with over the years. Try not to get emotional. After 50, this is what happens. Who have encouraged and inspired me to do more, because I believe that no one functions independently. And so the areas that I've been involved in have all included a collaboration of talent with other nurses and allied health professionals. And I purposely extended invitations to the group that I did because I really wanted to thank them. And my longtime oncology friends, Julio Sanchez and Graciela, we would meet over cocktails at the Vintage Press after the pharmaceutical dinners, and we collaborated, and I guess the cocktails helped, but we collaboratively envisioned a local oncology nursing chapter, and we implemented that, and that's now, I think, 15 years old. So we occasionally get together, not as much as we did when we were younger, but we kind of have our best moments in terms of thinking about careers and things like that and things we should be doing in those sessions. To my coworker and friend, Susan Bailey Dunn, who's one of the most exceptional outpatient oncology nurses, and who stimulates and supports me in developing novel patient education programs. Susan actually won Nurse of the Year last year for Fresno, so I'm very proud of her. To my good friend Rose Chang Hull, who is an urgent care, emergency care nurse practitioner, one of the smartest nurses I know. She was a key support for me going through nurse practitioner school, more recently, and so I thank her. To my breast imaging expert friend, Rebecca Wright, who's been my cheerleader in started out in breast imaging issues, and we did lots of community stuff, and she's just one of those passionate people. If you want to get her aside and talk about issues related to mammography and screening people that don't have insurance, and so you can imagine the conversations that we've had. I really think she's inspired me to do more in the community. To my dear and long-term friend, Ellen Malik. She's a cancer registry manager at St. Agnes, and we've been friends for many, many years. And her passion for prevention, cancer prevention and early detection of cancer is just die hard. Even when I invite her to my house for a drink or two, a glass of wine, we talk about prevention and early detection. So, I mean, she's been amazing. So all of these people have just really stimulated me. You just don't do these things in isolation. And I tend to gravitate towards people that want to do more than just clock in and clock out. So these are the folks that I really thank you for all you do. And of course, my husband, Mike, for all his support over the years. Because when you're active outside the family, it takes you away from your family. So I thank him for his patience. My daughters Samantha and Chelsea, who model a great work ethic in the areas that they love, and I'm so proud of them, and I know they will extend this to supporting their communities. We've already had these discussions. It's like, what are you doing in your community? And she's like, Mom. And so we have those things, but I see great things for them. And of course, to my my son Keith, who at 19 is my ultimate community and national hero. I thank you very much, and thank you very much for this recognition, and I'm sorry for all the tears.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Peggy Trueblood, Department Chair of Physical Therapy. On behalf of the Physical Therapy faculty, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you our hero, Paul Smith. Paul is an alum. He graduated with his master's in 1995, and he continues to be our friend, colleague, mentor, advocate, and supporter of our program. A hero is an everyday person that can change the world. And as someone Paul respected much, in fact, perhaps she was your hero, once said, "Ordinary people do extraordinary things." I think if Darlene was alive today, she would echo my words, Paul, that you have done extraordinary things for the profession of physical therapy. Paul has many attributes, but the one that stands out the most is his compassion for our profession and for his patients. His expertise in acute care is invaluable. In fact, he recently was recognized by Community Regional Medical Center, and one of his patients wrote, "I was one of many patients of Paul's, but I was treated like I was his only one. It is with great pride that I present to you our hero, Paul Smith."
Okay, where's Debbie? She's not making this easy, nor did you, Peggy. So, good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Trueblood for the gracious introduction, as well as the Department of Physical Therapy, Dean Hironaka Jituo, as well as Vice President Lamas and President Castro for this distinct recognition, all of which would not be possible without the loving support and patience of my beautiful wife and 4 amazing sons. For them, I'm truly grateful. When I was made aware of receiving this special recognition, several individuals immediately came to mind. I would like to take some time to recognize them for their mentorship, their spirit, and for their profession and service to the community in which they lived and worked. Some of you here tonight had the privilege to know and work with Darlene Stewart. It's ironic that Peggy mentioned her. She was the chair of the physical therapy department when I attended Fresno State. Darlene, I'll tell you, was a true leader and visionary within our profession. It was through her unceasing efforts that the CSU system transitioned to an entry-level master's degree in physical therapy. Every new graduate who takes the California law exam as a requirement for licensure in California can thank her as well, as she was instrumental in advocating that this be mandated with licensure. In her 1998 Royce P. Nolan remarks at California Chapter Annual Conference, she did not deviate from her character, providing a critical analysis of where she felt her profession was, opportunities missed, and the importance of lifelong service. In this address, Darlene clearly delivered a message of where we need to go as a profession to survive in an ever-changing healthcare delivery system and to be in a position to better serve our patients. As a graduate student here at Fresno State, I found myself in a unique position, having a great opportunity to conduct clinically based experimental research in wound care. Dr. Jan Dutterer approached me and offered to be my research chair. Well, I have to say I was stunned, excited, and I was extremely flattered by that request. And to this day, I don't know whether it was my topic that interests Jan or if she wanted to make sure that I qualified to graduate. And perhaps it was a little bit of both, but I thank her. Nevertheless, over my years of clinical practice, Jan and I have shared many similar interests in clinical education, cardiopulmonary, rehab, and acute care practice. Like Darlene, Jan has always been very committed to our profession and voluntary service. Both Darlene and Jan are former presidents of the California Physical Therapy Association. Unlike Darlene, I'm not sure, however, that Jan has really officially retired. Lastly, I would like to recognize and thank my parents. My mother is here tonight, and I know that Dad is looking down from above. My mother is a registered nurse and encouraged me to volunteer at the small Catholic hospital in high school. We often talk shop and share clinical stories and professional challenges and victories. She has always supported my professional pursuits and helped me appreciate the importance of these efforts as professional vitamins. My dad spent the greater part of his career as an associate budget officer for the University of California, Santa Barbara. As a result, he had a deep love for the California public education system. But more notably, I recall countless hours of volunteer service devoted to local community organizations, often planning or directly assisting in fundraising efforts. He also impressed upon his children to work hard, do a job once and do it right, and to always remember their roots. So tonight, I proudly remember my roots as I obtained 2 degrees from this university. And I have to say, the educational and professional foundation that I gained on this campus provided the basis of what has defined my years of clinical practice and service for the greater part of my career. For that reason alone, I am truly honored and greatly humbled by this recognition and award tonight, and I thank you for your time.
My name is Vicki Kranz, and I'm the interim chair of the Department of Public Health. Our community hero this year is Dr. Marcia Sablon from the city of Fireball. Marcia epitomizes what we consider to be a community hero. Marcia came here 34 years ago to the city of Fireball with her husband and family, and what started out to be a temporary assignment with the National Health Service Corps ended up becoming a commitment of over 30 years. I've known Marcia for over 25 years, and during this time I've had the opportunity to work with her as a part of the university with our Health Career Opportunity Program. And I can only say that Marcia was just phenomenal, working and mentoring with our students to help them guide their careers into a career in medicine and public health. I can remember there was a time that we had a number of our students, especially our female students, because having women go into healthcare at that time and go into medicine was such an enormous task, and many of our girls were falling out of the program. They were in a conflict about how am I going to handle my personal life with a very demanding professional life. And we went out to the clinic one day, and Marcia sat down with us, and she spent probably an hour and a half with our girls talking with them about how does she, as a woman in medicine, balance being a mother and a wife, and at that time also a politician. It was that level of just frank candidness that made such a difference in our students' lives. Beyond that, Marcia has also been an incredible champion of social justice. All of her patients, no matter how wealthy they are or how poor they are, receive the same level of care and the same commitment from her. Marcia has often shared a story about how one of the residents in Fireball was really offended because this was a very wealthy woman, and Marcia took one of the poorest women in before her and treated her same level of respect as the woman who was more wealthy. Marcia is very committed to ensuring that all people have access to health care and that they're treated with dignity and respect. I have to say, too, that there's another aspect of Marcia that has been just phenomenal. Marcia has, in spite of having a busy medical practice and a family of 4 children, was also the mayor of Fireball and has rotated in and out of being city council. And if she wasn't on city council, Oscar was. So when it came to passing policies or ordinances that improve people's life and well-being in Fireball, Marcia was our go-to person. With Marcia, we got smoke-free public places. Oops, I'm getting the red card. Okay. Access to food, access to health. The Health Commission is such an incredible opportunity for people to make a difference. So with that, while Marcia could not be here with us tonight, her husband Oscar has representing her for us. Thank you.
Just a few words. As you can tell, I am not Marcia, but she would like to thank all of you for this great honor. You know, she is quite a remarkable person. I think the thing that struck me is how in the beginning of our career, she decided that we should join the National Health Service Corps. And I said, why? University of Hawaii's tuition is only $750 a year. And she said, no, you know what it is. With that intro, we ended up working in Fireball for the National Health Service Corps, and it's the best thing that we've ever done. I would like to thank several people. First of all, Dorothy and Cricket there are nurse practitioners that made our practice work. They are now part of your staff here at Fresno State. But because of help with such people as them, they made our life so much easier. And the quality of care that they deliver is outstanding, as shown by their being part of your teaching program here at Fresno State. I also would like to thank Ron Louie and his wife. Mr. Louie is the PharmD, graduated from UCSF. You always need a pharmacist to help you with your patients, to know what medicines they're getting from other doctors, and also whether they are taking their medications. You know, medicine is is an individual sport, if you will. If you want to get good care, you've got to get to know your doctor, and your doctor needs to get to know you. I trained with Dr. Newell there, and I know her very well. Outstanding lady, and it is an honor, I know Marcia will say, for the people being honored tonight. You know, the things that she's accomplished the most, that have impressed me the most, is this annual Christmas dinner, and that we've had over the last 20 years. Volunteers, no public outreach in terms of trying to get the people just show up. People volunteer to donate 30 turkeys that are cooked in our school district. We have toys for the kids, we have pictures, and for the family, and a Santa Claus. I remember one day our Santa Claus did not show up, and so Marcia got me to be the Santa Claus. And one of the kids said, "I thought Santa Claus was white." But I'll end by saying one of the songs that my favorite is a Michael Jackson song that says, "It doesn't matter whether you're black or white." I want to add to that, it doesn't matter whether you're Latino, Micronesian, or Asian Pacific Islander. You can be whatever you want to be. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jason Whiting. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Recreation Administration. And tonight it's my great privilege to introduce you to Dr. Jennifer Crocker. As our community hero, I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Crocker a few years ago as a new faculty member here at Fresno State, up at China Peak, working on their adaptive ski program. And since that time, I've had the opportunity to really appreciate Dr. Crocker's leadership traits, her organizational abilities, and the passion and vision that she has in bringing adaptive sports to children with spinal cord and mobility-related injuries here in the Valley. Dr. Crocker, as a physician, serves as the medical director for the Rehabilitation Center at the Children's Hospital of Central California. In addition to raising 4 children with her husband Jeff, Dr. Crocker found time to establish the adaptive sports program in 2008. And that program is a very unique program. It offers children with a variety of injuries to be able to participate in adaptive sports such as kayaking, water skiing, snow skiing, ice hockey, rock climbing, hippotherapy. I'm sure I'm missing some, and a variety of others. And so Dr. Crocker is really made these things available, even taking resources out of her own family's budget and that type of thing, getting things started. And so she certainly has a passion for this population that is often overlooked here in the Central Valley, and it's for these reasons that we have nominated her for our Community Hero Award. I present you with Dr. Jennifer Crocker.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Jason. And when he's speaking of my family's budget, he means that we do go through a lot of duct tape when it comes to adaptive sports. So I really want to thank everyone. This is such an honor to be associated with all of these amazing people. This is really something that I wanted to congratulate everybody that's here, because you're being recognized for your very passionate work. And I think that that is very true, and we could feel that, especially Debbie, when you were discussing how no one gets here alone. It's really heartfelt, and everyone in this room can tell that. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. I want to thank my husband, Jeff, who Jason was alluding to, my 4 children, Elliot and Tatum and Cameron and Quentin, who, as you know, sacrificed a lot of their personal time to help me, to support our program, and really improve their community as well, to improve all areas of Central Valley for adaptive sports opportunity. This is a very special, meaningful award for me today, and one of the reasons that I was thinking that I'm so grateful for it is that as a physician and a citizen, a student, and a wife and a mother, I really strive to teach and appreciate making a difference. And this means that at some level, I am accomplishing that goal. So hopefully we're all here for the same thing, and I really appreciate the honor. Thank you, Jason.
Good evening. My name is Virginia Rondero Hernandez. I'm the chair of the Department of Social Work Education here in the College of Health and Human Services. I have the honor to introduce our community hero for 2015, Anthony Yamamoto, who we call Tony. I'm going to introduce Tony through the eyes of students and faculty. I'll start with the students. Tony has been immensely helpful in terms of providing numerous internships for both undergraduate and graduate level social work interns. To be able to be an intern at Children's Hospital is a coveted type of field placement, not only because of the dynamic environment in which the Children's represents and the number of families and children's lives that are touched, but also to be able to work within the Department of Social Services, which is what Tony heads. From the eyes of faculty, I must tell you that we have the greatest and deepest respect for Tony. He's a consummate professional. He's been a social worker for over 40 years and graduated from social work programs in the UC system. We're very proud of him and his accomplishments, and certainly he's been recognized by the social work profession and the medical profession for his contributions. I guess the last thing I want to say about him is that he's one of the kindest, compassionate men that I've ever met. And even though he and I have not worked closely, like on a daily basis, it's through his work with our students and our faculty that I can confirm to you he truly is a community hero. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Tony Yamamoto.
Well, I was a little bit taken back when I got a call from Dr. Hernandez, and didn't immediately respond to what she said. And so she asked me, are you still there? And I told her that, I was at a loss for words because I felt it was a great honor to be considered, particularly from the fact that it comes from my peers and colleagues within the Department of Social Work. So to me, it's a very special honor knowing that it's coming from my peers. When I had a chance to kind of reflect about how I got here, so to speak, I have to look at my parents. My parents have always been extremely involved in the community, doing service for the community, and they were my role models growing up, and they quietly maintained a role throughout their lives as a part of that. Unfortunately, my father's not here because he's passed on, but I wish he had the opportunity to be here along with my mother. And like anything, I grew up on a farm family, so with my brothers, we always did things together. So as a part of that, that was a part of that experience of learning to work together, to be together, and to sacrifice for within our family. And I think what everybody has said is no one could be here without the back of their family. So I have my children, Grant and Aaron, and my granddaughter, who is back there as well, my son-in-law, who are also here as well, and a friend of ours. So I've been grateful that I've had many people who have been a part of my life, have influenced my life. No one, I think, succeeds unless they have that there. I can think of many mentors throughout the course of my life, and again, I have to provide great tribute to them for what they have provided for me. I just want to just close by saying that, part of what's kind of directed my life was I was really inspired by John F. Kennedy, And I've always was struck by the words that he said in one of his speeches, and that was, ask not what you can do for your country, but what you can do for your country. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Donna DeRue, the Assistant Director for the Central California Center for Health and Human Services. And I have the privilege of introducing the center's community hero, William Bill Mitchell. We recognize Bill tonight for his leadership for the San Joaquin County Public Health Services and his immense work on the San Joaquin Valley Public Health Consortium. His leadership and expertise continues to serve as a beacon for public health in the Valley, even though he retired over a year ago. Bill is and always will be a leader of distinction, a valued colleague, a friend, and an inspirational community hero. It is with great honor that I introduce to you our community hero, Bill Mitchell.
Thank you, Donna, for those kind words. First of all, I need to acknowledge my wife, Catherine Siddle, who not only did work in her own profession as a medical social worker, but did the heavy lifting of raising our 3 now adult, all college graduate children, but who had to do all the work to get them to that place. And while I devoted my self to my work and all that went into that. I also want to acknowledge a great surprise this evening, friends Colby Morrow and Evan Shipp, who we've known each other for like 35 years in another life in Ventura, but happen to live in Fresno now and were able to come tonight. And so I'm just so happy you're here. A lot of the work that we've been doing in the San Joaquin Valley Public Health Consortium has to do with health equity and social inequalities. And health equity and those inequalities are probably more acute in the San Joaquin Valley than perhaps anywhere else in California and perhaps in most other places in the country. And we've been doing a lot of work on working with other sectors in the community, such as transportation planning, county general planning, access to healthy food, access to safe places for people to play, and education and jobs and violence prevention and all the things that go into creating the conditions in communities that people can live healthy lives. And it is really refreshing now. I think we're all hearing these kinds of concepts being talked about state and nationally, and we're leading to very exciting times. And while I'm very, very humbled to be receiving this award, I believe that anybody in our consortium could be honored for the same kind of work. We all share the same kind of passion. So I really want to honor and thank all the public health directors from the 8 San Joaquin Valley public health departments, the health officers in those departments, and our university and other health system partners in the consortium who will carry on this work as I've now retired. But the honor goes to really all of us, and I accept on behalf of everyone. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cassandra Jobert, and I am director of the Central California Children's Institute. And I am so pleased to introduce our community hero tonight, Dr. Benjamin Cuellar. Now, Ben is certainly no stranger to anyone here on campus or the College of Health and Human Services. Maybe a few of you came to Fresno State or became affiliated with the university after he retired in 2009. So you may not have had a chance to witness Ben in action. And regretfully, I only had the opportunity to work with Ben for 1 year before he retired. But the legacy that Ben left by creating and expanding the Central California Children's Institute, among other institutes in our college, and his leadership should not go unrecognized. And it's not the Institute's horn that I really toot tonight, but rather the vision that Ben had for bringing faculty and community together across disciplines, across sectors, to conduct research, to develop new programs, and to advocate on behalf of children and families in the Central Valley. By no means has the Institute achieved the vision that Ben had, but through his leadership, we have been given permission to pursue territory and to approach new ground, if you will, that engages a broad spectrum of academic and community partners. As was so well described today by one of the researchers we had on campus, he talked about the complexity of issues facing children and families and how they're influenced by very complex systems and dynamics. There are children within families, there are families within neighborhoods, there are neighborhoods within cities, and cities within a nation. And all of these levels impact how children develop and their outcomes. So there's really no room for silos. There's no room for us to work within our own closed systems. We really have to collaborate long-term, together, over time, doing the hard work in the trenches to really make difference for children. And what Ben did by engaging 5 colleges here at the university to work collaboratively together on behalf of children set really a new vision for child outcomes in the Valley. I am so grateful for Ben's contributions, how he challenged traditional approaches to problem solving and to learning by fostering collaboration and partnership both across the university as well as partnerships with the larger community. So I am so pleased to recognize and honor Dr. Ben Cuellar.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for the very, very kind words, Cassandra. I'd like to also thank Dean Jody Hironaka-Jato for putting this together along with the other staff. Any leader, any hero always has heroes behind them. And I like to just talk about the hero that has put up with me for 50 years, my wife, Julia Cuellar, who's sitting over there on the edge over there. She has put up with my long hours and absences and all the endeavors that I was involved in, and I really appreciate that, all that she's done for me over the last 50 years. I couldn't have done anything without her. I would also like to acknowledge many, many people who have played a role in my own career development here at Fresno State, as well as the putting together the Children's Institute. I've had mentors and heroes like Richard Ford, my predecessor as dean, Tamar Saciniega, who was very supportive of me when I first got here to Fresno State, Mike Ortiz, Jerry Chavarria, and many others whom I would take too long to mention. When I was growing up in Visalia, California, I graduated from Redwood High School in 1960. I saw the results and the effects of discrimination, poverty, poor schooling on children, and when I became a professor and then dean, I said if there's any way I could do to develop a structure, a mechanism to deal with some of the issues that children encounter here in the Valley, I was going to do it. And fortunately, I was able to do it with the support of 4 other deans, the provost, the California Endowment, and other foundations. The main thing that you learn in the process of experience is that the best way to get things done is with other people. So I always tried to get as many people involved as I could in any endeavor that I was involved in. I even remember about 15 or 16 years ago, or maybe it was 20. You know, when you get old, you forget, but there was a young man that I met who had just come to town, and he was from the University of California, and he was trying to do some things here. I believe it was to get UC Merced going, and he was. I knew then that he would something that would happen with him, and something did. He became president of Fresno State, and he's standing there in the back row over there, and just like to tell him he's been doing a good job here, because I keep my eyes on him, and he's doing good stuff. Just in closing, I also would like to mention that I have received support from my family. I have, that includes my daughters-in-law, my sisters who are here, and I remember many, many times during my lifetime when they've been there, when I needed their support and their help, and I got the best daughters-in-laws that anyone could ask for. I have a great daughter who provides me with support, and my grandchildren, well, I wouldn't live without them, so I think that's enough preaching for today, so I appreciate the award, and it's very meaningful to me. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Reed, and I'm faculty in the Department of Kinesiology. And I'm really honored to be here tonight to introduce Brenna Hughes, who is the nominee for Community Hero from the Central California Sports Sciences Institute. Brenna actually received her degree here from Fresno State in speech-language pathology, and she is currently leading a team of 15 SLPs in the Acute Care Rehabilitation Department at Community Regional Medical Center. Brenna has been a leader in really getting awareness of concussion management, and developing sort of a multidisciplinary approach to that here in the Valley. And she has been really instrumental in developing the Central Valley Concussion Consortium that started in 2013. And then as a result of that as well, the inaugural Central Valley Concussion Symposium, which I believe we're talking about the second one. I just got an email today. So very excited to see where things are going and all of the work that Brenna has put into really developing this multidisciplinary approach to brain injury education, as well as awareness and an emphasis on youth sports. So with that, I will give it over to Brenna Hughes.
Thank you, Stephanie, very much for the kind words, and thank you for filling in for Scott Saylor tonight, and tell him thank you for the nomination. Huge thank you to Fresno State for putting this on. It's a big honor to be standing up here. Before I forget, huge thank you to my family, taking up the front row here. Definitely couldn't do this without you. You're raising my kids for me, basically. I'll turn into a joke here. My husband, huge thank you. He's definitely my #1 fan. He actually works in PR here, so I joke I have my own personal PR rep. He's probably tweeting about me right now. But thank you for all your support. I'm very honored to be standing up here and part of a group of such distinguished honorees. A few of them I know on a professional level, so I know how amazing they are. This award is a testament to the strides that we've made in the Central Valley over the last few years in increasing awareness in brain injury or concussions. We started the Central Valley Concussion Consortium a couple years ago to bring multidisciplinary professionals from all over the community who are passionate about brain injury, to make sure our patients, especially children, are receiving the proper diagnosis of mild traumatic brain injury or concussion and receiving the services they need following concussion. Even amongst medical professionals over the years, I've heard statements like, "There's none of that head stuff going on. Don't worry about it. That's just his baseline. He's crazy. His CT is negative. There's no brain injury." And my personal favorite, she's a GCS of 15, so there's no brain injury. These are statements that truly exemplify the culture of really diminishing brain injury that is prevalent in our community, and it feeds its nickname, the silent epidemic, which it truly is. These common misperceptions are what continue to fuel my passion in this area. In part, our youth are particularly vulnerable to the effects of concussions or mild traumatic brain injury. Our goal with the consortium continues to be education for everyone who surrounds these children in sports, including the child themselves, so that we can hopefully avoid a vicious cycle of repetitive injury, which can lead to a vicious cycle of substance abuse, and ultimately becoming my adult patient, which I see every day, that now have long-lasting neurological impairment or neuropsychological problems. Brain injury continues to be a controversial topic in the news today, one that will not be going away anytime soon, but as healthcare professionals, we can continue to be part of the solution. Thank you again for recognizing our efforts tonight, and congratulations to all the other honorees.
Good evening. I'm John Capitman, Executive Director of the Central Valley Health Policy Institute. It is an enormous pleasure, really a huge opportunity and joy to introduce Dr. Gail Newell, the Central Valley Health Policy Institute's Community Hero for 2015. Dr. Newell is an obstetrician, gynecologist. She's delivered over 10,000 little Fresnans. She's an accomplished educator, researcher, teacher. I first got to know Dr. Newell through her service as medical director of the Maternal, Child, and Adolescent Health at the Fresno Department of Public Health. She's made a difference as director of obstetrics at UCSF, training medical students and resident physicians who care for our community's highest risk, most underserved patients. She's been the originator and leader of numerous programs addressing women's health and empowerment in Fresno and the region since the early 1990s. Dr. Newell has worked on global health programs, including training Congolese physicians. She's also been a recognized leader in several California and national initiatives on women's health issues and health equity. I really got the treat a couple years ago. Dr. Newell participated in our health policy leadership program here at Fresno State. Along with program colleagues, she was awarded a grant from the Public Health Institute to create a Fresno area community health improvement plan. And a new partnership has been spawned. Still another little Fresno born. We hope for so much from that. And Dr. Newell's leadership there has also extended to leading the new local initiative in partnership with UCSF and Fresno State and really all of you to improve birth outcomes for Fresno. Dr. Newell exemplifies professional leadership in addressing community problems. Her kindness, candor, and clarity offer a model of principled engagement that we all can strive to emulate. Thank you, Dr. Newell.
Thank you, Dr. Capitman and Dr. Hironaka Juto. Such an honor to be here in this room full of heroes. There's so many of my personal heroes in this room as well. And thank you all for celebrating with us all tonight. Since I'm the last speaker, I want to take this opportunity to have them cue up my 60-minute presentation on preterm birth. But no, I'm just going to be a few words of thanks here. First, I want to offer my deep gratitude to my parents, Dr. Lewis and Jean Jansen, who brought me to Fresno as a preschooler, and I've been here ever since, who raised me to believe in myself and that I could do anything I wanted to, and instilled in me the values of a hero. My father was one of Fresno's finest pediatricians, and so was my earliest influence in the field of medicine. He passed away last August, but he was so proud of me, and we had the opportunity to practice together for a few years before he retired. My mother is here tonight, poet Jean Jansen, and she passed on the genes for the right side of my brain, and I'm especially grateful for that, to have that kind of balance in my life. My son Conlin Newell is here. He's the middle of three and representing the troops. And they've been so patient and understanding with me as I've dedicated my energies outside the home and outside the family, and you'll never know how much I love you. My wife, Kelly Beingesser, is also here. She's an obstetrician gynecologist as well, and not only is she my wife, but she's my favorite colleague and my greatest champion. I invited three special guests tonight. One was Dr. Kappenman. I didn't know that he was going to present for me. But these three have contributed greatly to my ongoing learning. And I joked about the PowerPoint presentation, but I am a big believer in lifelong learning. And, you know, there's a reason they call it the practice of medicine, because we spend our entire lives practicing. On some of you, my patients. Thank you, Dr. Kappenman, for giving me a new vision of what health and healthcare really mean, for shifting my framework of what health is, and to Fresno State for the Central Valley Health Policy Institute. The Central Valley Health Policy Institute is changing lives. It is saving lives. It's so important. Dr. Ken Bird is here, the health officer of Fresno County from the Fresno County Department of Public Health. I joined the Department of Public Health late in my career, and what an education that has been. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have served there as Fresno County's Medical Director of Maternal, Child, and Adolescent Health, and for the great education and the good work I saw being done there. And then Dr. Carlos Sueldo is here. He's my current boss. He's the Chief of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at UCSF Fresno. And I'm especially grateful for him allowing me to come home to where I started at UCSF Fresno to teach the next generation and to continue to learn alongside them. And lastly, I want to thank the countless number of women and their families who have allowed me to be a part of their lives. Some of you are here tonight, and to be a part of their lives at their most vulnerable and precious times. It's been a privilege to learn and grow alongside you. And I'm deeply grateful. Thank you.
Another round of applause for all of our community heroes. You know, I'm reminded, and as we heard from each of our heroes this evening, they haven't been here on their own accord, right? There's been folks who have been supporting them along the way, and certainly want to acknowledge the support that you've provided by being here and honoring our heroes, the support that we've had throughout the last few months. And even years to be able to sustain this event, the great work of Dana, Luca, and Beth Wilkerson. I should say Beth and I see things eye to eye, and I look up to Dana too. It takes a lot of folks to be able to pull an event off, and again, it's not just an event, it's a celebration of the hard work. Hopefully the environment that we created tonight not only helps to honor the hard work, the support, but also wanted to take a moment, and this is a really high time on campus. We're kind of gearing into all graduation events, and our wonderful, wonderful catering staff, University Catering, who continue to be able to provide great support, great food, and great service. Thank you. And as Dr. Cuellar had mentioned, I did see President Castro and Provost Zelezny sneak in. They're quite full with various events, but I think it's really a testament to the support that they provide each and every day, not only to the colleges and schools, the various divisions, to our faculty, our staff, our students, but most importantly, to convey the important relationship that the university has with the community. I don't know if they're still around or they're chatting with others, but it means a great deal for those of us within the college that we have the support of our leadership. So really appreciate your time. I'm asked to remind our heroes that on your way out this evening to pick up your posters. Those are ready for you to go. Please enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you so much for coming.